You know, I kind of want to get... I played this game because I kind of wanted to get pissed. Just putting that out there right now. By Mattel. Made with Unity. That's the good signs right there. This is Uno. If you don't know what Uno is, it's basically a card game. You can go down to the store, any local Walmart, I guess, since Toys R Us doesn't exist, and buy yourself a pack of Uno cards that's usually shipped with the rules. Or, I guess, you can also play it in video game form, even though there's absolutely no reason for it to be, I don't know, a 1001 video game you must play. All you have to do is buy Tabletop Simulator. It has any Uno deck you could wish for. But no, we're stuck with this. And you know what adds insult to injury? It's that Uno is basically a copy of an existing card game that you could play with any deck of cards, called Crazy Eights. Alright, to be absolutely serious, and sorry if I sound a bit rusty, it's been quite a while since I've done this. I've been busy with other projects, as you might know. Uno is the worst selection in the book. This is the game that taught me that this book is absolutely horrible and the people behind it did not take this seriously whatsoever. Yeah, coming soon, DLC. I had to install Uplay to play this fucking game because Ubisoft owns it. If that doesn't tell you that I'm serious about getting through this fucking book, I don't know what is. Now, Uno Hero was one of the first few games that allowed you to use your Xbox Live avatar in-game. So I guess it's marginally historically significant, although A Kingdom for Keflings also has this feature. And it's the much better game, and it actually has a reason to be a video game. Okay, I mean, a game version of Uno it is a nice idea. Uno is not a bad card game at all, why make it 1,000? Why make it a video game in the 1001 video games you must play before you die? Like, what the fuck? Let's just do a solo match. Play. Oh my fucking god, no. Alright. Score limit. Yeah. Stack, draw twos, okay. Disabled. One bad thing about this version of Uno, is that a casual player of Uno probably isn't going to know what all of these house rules are. No, wild draw fours may be played without being challenged. Like, in a casual game of Uno, you can just play wild draw fours whenever you want to. I guess in this version, you can only play it when it's the last one in. When you draw a card in your turn, you must draw until you get a playable card. If you draw a card on your turn and it's playable, it's automatically played. Yeah. If you challenge a wild draw 4 and fail, you draw 6 cards instead of usual 4. Okay. Yes, I know what stacking is. And no, we're not going to be doing multiplayer. Oh no, they're stacking. But yeah, if you wanted to play Uno, all you had to do is basically take a deck of cards and learn how to play the game Crazy Eights. Uno is just basically a deck dedicated to the card game Crazy Eights, with some power-ups like skips and wild cards. As far... This is the PC version, the one that was ported to Steam, considering I don't have an Xbox 360, and I don't know how long the Xbox Live Arcade is even around. I don't know if it's still around. That's what happens with, Okay, I have a lot of wild cards. That's what happens in Uno. It lasts forever because people keep drawing fucking cards. Oh, yay. Reverse is gonna be blue. Like, as far as an actual game of Uno, this is fairly mediocre. Like, as you saw, without the DLC, this game only has the basic Uno deck and rabbits. You could have so many different kinds of decks, maybe alternate background music, personalities for the AIs. Oh, an achievement, yay. Oh, no, next match? That should really just boot you to the main menu. That's what it's supposed to do. 2v2, solo match. I know how to play Uno. But let's see why Uno made it in the book. That's probably why you're all curious. Like, when I first saw the title and the table of contents, I thought that maybe it was just like some other game that was entitled Uno, but no. I mean, there are other board games in the book, like Carcassonne. But most of the other ones, like, say, Clubhouse games, at least have a wide variety of games. This is just one. $6.53, Uno. Original release date, 2006. Developer, Carbonated Games. Platform, various. Genre, adaptation. Sure. To many gamers around the world, Uno was an obscure American card game until one day it turned up on Xbox Live Arcade game. On Xbox Live Arcade. Was it really that obscure? I mean, I might be a little bit biased, but I knew what Uno was. I've been playing Uno since I was a little kid in grade school. I mean, not to toot my own horn, but obscure American is kind of a bit of an oxymoron. I mean, most people know, like, American culture, American games, American movies. Let's see. And its frantic, multiplayer fun quickly saw it become a worldwide classic. Okay, hands up, how many people even knew that Uno had a video game version? Still one of the service's top sellers. There's something timeless about the vibrant delivery and astute control scheme that Carbonated Games brought to the family standard. Yeah, I will say, the controls are quite fluid. Everything works perfectly, but vibrant? I can't even change the fucking background. The rules were so brilliantly poised in the first place that the developer could spend all the time thinking about the implementation. And they did a piss poor job. Once again, two fucking decks. And one more for DLC. And the original version, I don't think was owned by Ubisoft. I mean, they may have published it, I don't remember. I don't think so, though. Let's see. A color and number matching card game that tasks you with getting rid of the hand you're dealt as soon as possible. That's most card games, from what I understand. Uno's already an enjoyably devious time waster. Okay, they use time waster a lot as an advertisement for many of the games in this book. Saying that a game is a time waster is an insult to the game. Like, maybe, yeah, this is a time waster. I'm wasting my time playing this. Of all the ways to describe a game that's quote-unquote addictive or consuming, saying that it wastes your time is one of the worst things to do. Carbonated Games does a number of clever things to further enhance the fun, from ensuring you get a good look at the statistics of the player you're up against, to auto-selecting the card it thinks you're most likely to play at the start of each turn. Okay, like, maybe this would be great for the Uno in the esports scene, but for the casual player, that's pointless. Shifting between your possibilities is slickly done, and best of all, unlike the physical version of the game, Uno auto-organizes all your pickups, which should please the neat freak lurking within you. Yes, because the physical game of Uno has a million pickups. Yes. And, as with the card game, Uno's capacity for lavish viciousness is undimmed on Xbox Live Arcade with the ability to skip, reverse, and land almighty pickups on whomever seems to be inching towards victory the quickest. Okay, I want to make this clear. The text here says that it's for the Xbox Live Arcade version. However, up on the top it says platform various. They do this a lot. They say they have a specific version in mind, but because they don't want to do the research of what platforms it's on, they just throw platform various. And I don't think this was available on PC at the time. I think it was an Xbox Live Arcade exclusive. With a real potential for group victimization and all the fiddly things like sorting decks and totting up high scores handled by the computer, Carbonated Games' winner really does feel like the future of a nice game of cards. Unfortunately, Tabletop Simulator came along and the future did not refuse to change for once. Since it's always lurking right there on your Xbox 360's dashboard, it's never more than a few clicks away from your TV screen. Until you uninstall it because Uno is quite boring. I mean, I like the game, but it's not something that I'm going to play religiously. There are a million other card games that I can think are more fun and more important. Like, if you want to buy a decked card game, like a specific packaged deck for a specific game, go with Chrononauts. Chrononauts is a much more interesting game with a lot more strategy and a lot more fun. That's probably one of my favorite card games. Like, not actual, deck of 52, standard deck, but I don't think Chrononauts is cheaper, though. Like, stacking, force play, like, jump in, play a card out of turn if the last card you have is a tentacle, okay. Play a 7 to swap hands, play a 0 to pass hands, or... This, like, who the fuck plays Uno with this? Like, I mean, it might be a house rule, but I have never heard anyone play this. I originally tried playing this without altering any of the rules, but having this, it just confused me, and it was stupid. It was really fucking stupid. Let's see. Uno is a light and entertaining game that's compulsive, addicting, and most of all fun. Let's play another game. I'm not talking about Uno. The game is, let's say, what could have been in this game, what could have been in this book instead of Uno. Ignoring games that came out afterwards, like the aforementioned Tabletop Simulator. Let's see. Most of my selections have come out afterwards. But, you know, games like Xenoblade Chronicles, Uno is much, much more valuable. There's the aforementioned A Kingdom for Keflings, which isn't the greatest game, but it's a relaxing, good time, and a much better use of Uno's only historical significance. Marvel Blast Ultra, it's a game that no longer exists, but it was probably the best game on Xbox Live. It was removed because of a copyright infringement, I think, but it was an amazingly fun time, and one of the best Marvel platforming games of all time. Of course, I have to mention any of the Spyro games. And, you know, Crash Bandicoot, Sony's mascot, more or less. Ooh, Wasteland! You know, one of those cult classics. Speaking of cult classics, Siberia. Condemned Criminal Origins, Alice, Madness Returns. Those sound like they would have been great. Just keep trying, just keep trying. Oh, since this came out in 2013, why did I make it green? Super Meat Boy. Like, that probably should have been in here. Project Zomboid, Creatures, Conker's Bad Fur Day. No, you're right, book. Uno is by far the game that is better suited to this book than all of those games. Absolutely. Medieval, maybe Gex. Keep in mind, these aren't just, you know, like my pet games or whatever. I mean, this game got in the book over Klonoa. I've never played a Klonoa game, but I know how much people seem to love it. Same deal with Mischief Makers, a game, once again, I have never played, but the original Contra, the original Bionic Commando, Blaster Master, DuckTales on the NES. Uno is a game that barely has any strategy. I mean, there is a modicum of strategy there with power-ups and such, and I guess you could strategically get more cards. But honestly, it seems like whenever you're getting close to a victory, you start drawing cards and boom, you're full up. And the game just goes on forever. Uno. Oh yeah, this game got in the book over every single Sierra Adventure game. Every single Kirby game. Every single Mega Man game. It's not just a bad selection. It's a bad selection when so many, not just good games, but historically significant games were kept out of the book. And that's what drives me up the wall about this game. Not just that there's filler, but that there's so much filler when there are other perfectly serviceable games that would have gone in this book. And while this isn't exactly a filler entry, I would actually prefer if it was a filler entry, because, like, playing both Jet Set Radio and Jet Set Radio Future, like, at least I would be having fun playing essentially the same game twice. And Jet Set Radio Future is more or less a remake of the original Jet Set Radio. So there really is no reason to play both of them. I mean, I haven't even been talking about, like, the obscure games. Like Little Samson, which is just an amazing NES game. One of the best. Let's see, Little Nemo, Lufia 2, Virtual Boy Wario Land, River City Ransom. Nah, Uno. Uno is where it's at. This is so much more significant than, say, Project Zomboid. Not really a significant game, but a much better game to include. I mean, if you want to start including games that came out afterwards, that's a rabbit hole that has no end. I really don't have sticks, don't I? Yeah. Like, a selection like Uno shows me that the editor didn't do jack shit. Like, someone in the production should have been around to say, no, there really is no reason to include this. Beyond, let's just include every single game I have on my iPhone and every single piece of shovelware I have on my Wii or 360. Because this game is very close to shovelware. I mean, it's functional, and if you want Uno, you could certainly do worse. Like I said, you could certainly do better, because Tabletop Simulator made so many of these quote-unquote adaptation games obsolete. I mean, yeah, Tabletop Simulator won't do this kind of shit automatically, and you're going to be playing by yourself if you don't have any friends, but still. For an adaptation game to be included, it needs to do something really fucking special. It can't just be straight playing Uno. Like, I mean, could Uno have ever made it in the book, in my opinion, or be worthy? Maybe if you had, like, what they typically do for poker video games. Give every single one of the NPCs, like, their own distinctive personalities and playstyle, which is very, very hard to do with Uno, by the way. Make more than one background track. Give the player dozens of decks to work with. Maybe some character customization. But yeah, I guess maybe I'm not being totally fair, considering this is mostly a multiplayer game. But I don't think I'd be able to get anyone who wanted to play this game with me. And if they did, we would probably just be playing Tabletop Simulator. Yeah, I know most of this video has been me not, you know, playing the game, but it's... Like I said, I don't hate the game Uno, although I do think that, yes, it is quite lazy because it is just a repackage of Crazy Eights. In Crazy Eights is played exactly the same as Uno, except the eights are the wild cards. You place down a card that's the same suit or number. And, well, you try to get no cards in your hand. So, what we have here is a video game adaptation of a packaged game that you could buy physically with no issues whatsoever. Just go down to any Walmart in the game section, you'll probably find it. Which is basically a repackaged version of a typical game of cards, and you can buy a deck of cards anywhere with no additional features. Like, the only thing this allows you to do is customize your house rules, which you don't need a video game to do. But, like, you may as well, I don't know, put a Monopoly game in the book. Sorry to make this my grand debut, but after Ocarina of Time, I needed to play something that would just, you know... Like, at the start here... The start of this book is basically going to be me figuring out the obvious. Figuring out where we stand. Playing the obvious yeses, the obvious nos, and not much in the middle. Although I do want to balance it a little bit with games that I have never played before. And I have played about a quarter of this book. I know that sounds a little bit, not fair, considering I do consider this book horrible, and I haven't played all 1001 games. But a lot of the games that I haven't played, I know either yes, like Shadow of the Colossus, or no, like iPad. iPad is another game that made it in the book. Like, I probably do know the answers to, at the very least, half of the book. I would be confident in saying that much. God damn it. Like I said, this is what Uno is. You get low on cards, you don't have the next card, you fill up. I mean, as a quick party game, it's kind of pleasant, but it's really not something that I'll sit down and really focus on. This is the kind of game you play after you got bored playing hours of Risk or Monopoly. But you're not quite ready to end the night. I want to say I'll end this after this game, but this game doesn't seem to want to end. I don't care who wins. At this point, I just want it to be over. Which is not a good sign. Come on. That happens a lot in Uno too. It's exactly the card you need, and then another player changes it up. Why do you have so many green 4s? And apparently you can't stack cancels. There we go. I won one game, so I don't give a shit. Oh no, it is the most no game in the entire book. The end. The person in charge should have immediately said no, go pick something else. Instead of, yes, we can't think of any games, let's just put in every single thing we can think of. Oh my god, this is tedious.